Hello there, everybody. My name is Jennie of Jennie Meredyth, and welcome to Monday Morning Moxie. This is your quick 15-minute or less dose of Moxie to help you actually become the kind of person who follows through on what matters most to you. We specifically work with entrepreneurs who have impatient ambition. So if that is you, stick around. I'm excited to talk to you. Today, I want to talk to you about this concept of the fresh start effect, which is something I think we could use a little dose of. When I'm recording this right now, it's like at the very beginning of the summer, and I just, for one, could really use a fresh start. I feel like so often I'm craving a fresh start. I would like to, start from a blank sheet of paper and start over because everything feels so messy. Everything feels behind. Everything feels like I'm just perpetually behind. And I would love to feel like, okay, I get a fresh start. And a lot of us feel that way when we have that impatient ambition. But we usually, when we're craving that, like outsource it to the calendar, right? Like we wait and wait and wait for a special specific thing to happen. Like we wait for your birthday, or we wait for January 1st, or we wait for the Monday after our big vacation, or some very specific thing. Like we're always waiting until we have some kind of psychological trigger that tells us we are now allowed to have a fresh start. And so the purpose of today's Monday Morning Moxie is to say you don't need that. And yes, it is so meta. I really wanted to bring back this show and talk about Monday Morning Moxie and give you these quick 15-minute coaching hits, because we used to do this years and years and years ago inside of a membership that no longer exists. And in that membership, we would have these 15-minute coaching sessions on Zoom that were really powerful on Monday mornings to kind of kickstart the week and get you moving and feeling like you're onto something. Like, okay, I have something to chew on. Now I can get started. It was really, really fun. And it was really funny too, because one of the things that surprised me is how popular it was to open up a Zoom room and talk for 15 minutes. I know that sounds really strange, but I feel like every time I open up Zoom, whether I'm running it or I'm participating, we're going to be there for at least an hour. Like it's just a rule. Instead of saying, no, what if we have a 15-minute conversation? So I have been wanting to live stream more. I've been wanting to be on YouTube more. I've been wanting to have a fresh start on my YouTube channel and start that all over again. And now that the business is no longer just Coach Jennie, it's Jennie and Meredyth, my wife and business partner, we really are like craving this fresh new start. So we could kind of burn everything down and start over from scratch, but we decided not to do that and instead just decide that today is a fresh start. We're just going to get going. And that's what I want to invite you to do as well today. So what's really interesting, I did a little bit of nerdy research, and the Wharton School has a bunch of scientists who got together and were thinking about this concept of fresh starts on anniversaries, birthdays, New Year's Day, that kind of thing. And they call this temporal landmarks. Temporal landmarks, so fancy. The idea being that these are specific times where we start going to the gym, or we set new goals, and we have different kind of goal setting behavior, or we make a big commitment to change of some sort, because we have these temporal landmarks that have made that a little bit easier and like socially acceptable to say, now I'm going to start. And if I'm honest, I have been very guilty of waiting until a perfect temporal landmark shows up, and I am now allowed to start doing something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And that's a very strange thing, because we have this impatient ambition. We want to do all of these things yesterday, if not sooner. And yet we're waiting until, I don't know, we get permission to start over again. And so I was trying to figure this out, and I realized that the issue is it's because we didn't do it perfectly the first time. It's like a very specific flavor of perfectionism where we feel like we're only allowed to keep going on something that was successful right out of the gate and that we stuck with, that we were consistent with. It's really funny how the word consistent has become a bit of a curse word in our coaching practice, where people are like, oh my gosh, please quit telling me I need to be consistent. Because I think consistent for consistency's sake can become just this kind of mental abusive situation where we're beating ourselves up for not being perfectly consistent. So let's not even try. So the fresh start effect is a really great way to kind of say, you know what, screw all that. Maybe I wasn't consistent. Maybe I didn't follow through. Past me doesn't matter. It's about today you and future you and how you're deciding to show up, whether it's consistent or not. So here is my plan for this fresh start. And then I'm going to invite you to do your version of whatever fresh start that you need right now. My plan for this fresh start is Meredyth and I are going to be doing some live streaming here on YouTube as often as we can. And specifically, this Monday Morning Moxie call that used to be, or session thing, live stream, that used to be an in-person, like I said, not in person, a Zoom call where people needed to show up and have their hair ready. I've just shifted to here. So I need to have my hair kind of ready. But beyond that, you just need to sit back and enjoy and see if there's something I'm challenging you with this week that you'd like to try on for a bit. The idea is that I'm going to challenge you with a different idea, give you a little mini coaching session for you to try on for the next 7 days and see if it fits. Some of these Monday Morning Moxies are going to feel like, oh my gosh, that just changed my life, I hope. And some of them are going to be like, that was fine. That was cute. I've heard that before, whatever. That's totally fine. I don't know which ones are going to work for whom, but I'm going to be collecting these most Mondays, not all Mondays, because consistency is a C word, but most Mondays I'm going to be collecting these and sharing these with you as a way to give you a swift kick in the tush to keep moving forward. That's what these are all about. So to talk about our very specific, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. That is my clean slate. That is my fresh start that I am giving myself. But I want to invite you to do the same and not wait until you have one of these perfect temporal landmarks lined up on the calendar. You can decide right now, here, today, this particular Monday or whatever day you're watching this video replay. You can decide that today is the day that you're going to start something. Today is the day you're going to finish something. Today is the day you're going to let go of something. Today is the day you're going to change the way you approach something. You can decide that today is the day that you're going to forgive yourself for anything that you didn't follow through on or weren't consistent with and decide to do it a different way this time. Today is the day you can decide that I'm no longer going to listen to that person and I'm going to start tuning into this person. Today's the day that you could decide, it's time for me to just trust my own intuition and quit asking so many people to be part of my decision making. It really is as simple as deciding today's the day. And I say that with all sincerity because we don't need to wait until there's some sort of occasion on the calendar that tells us we're allowed to do that. And what's really interesting in all the little research I did is this works so much better than when you wait for those temporal landmarks. Like how many of us have made New Year's resolutions that don't make it to like Valentine's Day? Or worse, they don't even make it a few weeks into the year. And that's because they feel forced. They feel expected. They feel like a tradition more than a decision. And so by deciding I need a fresh start right now in this area of my life or in this particular project or this part of my business, you are making a decision for yourself to just approach it that way. So pull out a clean sheet of paper, let go of whatever unfinished business there was before. Take, for example, your YouTube channel that was, just kind of sitting there doing nothing for you. Pick it back up and run with it, or whatever that thing is for you. I invite you to decide that today is the day that you're going to give yourself a fresh start on something and give it 7 days and see how it feels. Try it on, see how that works for you. It's really amazing how very, very simple it is to make this decision. And you can make this decision over and over again. You don't have to wait for another shove for me or push for me to do that. It's really interesting. So in the chat, there's a few people saying, ooh, temporal landmarks. What a great nerdy phrase. It's so nerdy. It totally is. And then Meredyth says, oh, and also so meta, very, very meta. And I agree that consistent is a curse word in my life for sure. Let's see. Diane says, I managed to stay consistent for about 10 weeks with my New Year's resolution. So this is timely. I'm ready to start again. That's exactly what I'm going for, everybody. It's just deciding, you know what? Enough already. I don't need to wait anymore. I have impatient ambition, which can drive me bananas or can drive me forward. I don't want it to drive you bananas. It drives me bananas sometimes that things are just not happening as fast as I want them to be, or I want them to go. Things are not moving as quickly. It's not working as smoothly as I thought it would be. It's going to take a little bit more prep time than I want it to. Like that impatient ambition is maddening for sure, but it's also a tool that we can use for good. It can really support us, can motivate us to drive us forward. And just deciding, you know what, I need a fresh start in this particular thing, this particular area of my life, whatever that is for you, is a really profound choice. So I'd love to hear from you if you're watching this now live or you're watching this in the replay. Leave a comment and let me know what kind of fresh start are you going to give yourself? What is a specific way that you're going to say, you know what, I need a fresh sheet of paper, a clean slate, big sky thinking. I'm just going to start from scratch and say, you know what, I'm starting from scratch. But here's one other piece that's really powerful about the fresh start approach is while you're choosing to start from scratch, you're not starting without experience. So another way to think about this is, entrepreneurs don't get this same thing that people in traditional jobs do. In a traditional job, when you are finished with a job and you apply for another one and get another job, you completely leave this job, this company, this cubicle, the whole nine, and then you move to this other job. And that is celebrated big time. Like look at any LinkedIn, somebody got a new job. It is celebrated that they have this fresh start. They get to start all over at a new company, new desk, new everything, and start all over again. But as entrepreneurs, we feel like we don't get to do that. But the cool thing is when you think about the same situation, those people with the new job are bringing all of the experiences they had at the last one and giving themselves that fresh start. How can you do that for yourself in your business right now? How can you say, okay, I'm giving myself a fresh start on launching this thing yet again, for example. However, this time I'm going to look at it as a clean slate. I'm going to take the experience I had before, but I don't have to build on that. I can just learn from that and decide I have a fresh start. Here's how I'm doing this. I'm doing it a little differently this time. I'm doing it completely differently this time and see how it goes. So hopefully this is giving you exactly what you need to say, you know what, I don't have to be consistent. I don't have to be perfect. And I don't have to feel behind anymore. I can give myself that fresh start starting right now. So whatever that decision is for you, share it in the comments below. And then be sure to subscribe to this channel. I promise I'm not going to beg you to subscribe every time, but be sure to subscribe so that you hear about these future Monday Morning Moxies and all of the other cool things that Meredyth and I are really excited to get started. Thank you so much for listening to me. This is all I got for you this week. Until next time, keep making things happen no matter what. Bye.